Masculinity is disappearing in America.
What's up to the Manosphere? I want to deep dive into our society from a MGTOW red pill outlook. I see countless videos every day from our community that says beta males and simps don't get the women. They don't get the women's submission. The top 1%, which are alpha males, get the best looking women to lay with. Not only are your PUA coaches and red pill coaches saying this, but we see evidence every time we watch Fresh and Fit. We refresh ourselves with Kevin Samuels clips and of course Andrew Tate. We see the same main points. Make the best version of yourself, which by their definition is being more of a man. And guess what? The women agree. So as our community comes to grip with these fundamentals, our society on the whole is saying masculinity is a social construct. It's not something a man is just naturally born with, and we don't have to be that way. Our society is looking to redefine gender roles and want men more feminine and push women to be more masculine, destroying traditional families in the process. So I stumbled across this video on the Jubilee channel, and it brought the discussion to the table in the most interesting way. Some of you may have already seen it, but if not, check it out.
I think that masculinity is disappearing. I think that it's a concerted effort to emasculate men. I think that some people feel threatened by masculinity and the typical way that men carry themselves, leading families and different things like that. So I think that there's an effort to mitigate strong men in America.
There's a few different ways to think about masculinity, but just looking at kind of the definition of the term 50 years ago, you had people like John Wayne, you had Martin Luther King, you had Sean Connery. You think of like masculine features as in beards, hairy chest, big muscles, think stoic, being brave, being rugged, being a provider. Today you have people like Harry Styles and Timothy Chalamet. You have people that are completely contrary to what we were looking at back then, and those values of those masculine characteristics are completely devalued.
I do believe that masculinity is going downhill, especially if you look at like the testosterone levels. Now the testosterone levels for guys is going down compared to generations before us. So yeah, I agree. Hi, I'm Gilbert, I'm 24 years old and I'm a conservative man. With my beliefs and having a trans man as my friend, we don't really talk about politics. Someone being trans doesn't make me like them any less of a person. As far as pronouns, when referring to my friend, I don't really use the pronouns that my friend would want. I just say my friend or I say their name, just because I feel like I'm giving into the narrative that men can be women and women can be men if I use the pronouns that they want.
All valid points by these conservative men, but here comes the monkey wrench.
Oh, here we go. It depends on how you look at it, because a lot of the traits can also be embodied in women and femininity. So when we look at masculinity, I think that we have to also look at what is the actual definition of femininity and masculinity. And
What did he just say?
What the hell?
If we're defining masculinity by being stoic or muscles or body parts, then is it really masculinity?
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it's masculinity. What else could it be if I got a dick and you got a... We were born what we are biologically. As a man, I can't get pregnant and push out a child. There's no clear way in my eyes to say what's feminine and what's masculine. But what you see as we continue on is masculinity and femininity being described as a social construct.
A lot of times when you guys spoke about masculinity, you associate it with men being manly, but I think more women are embracing their masculinity. Masculinity is still there. I mean, just other genders are using it. Being courageous, being powerful, more women are standing in their power, which is again associated with masculine, but it's not specific to just men. Women are no longer submissive, they're dominant. Women don't need men, and I think that most of America is realizing that anyone can be powerful on their own.
That's the problem. Men and women need each other. We're not gonna live independent of each other, ever. I get it. Women can work just as hard as men, but why do that mean women don't need us? In order for the human race to survive as of now, we have to be fruitful and multiply. How do you get that being independent?
I believe that the masculine traits are inherently in men, and men have to take a position. You made a really good point by saying women are now becoming more masculine. They feel as if they don't need men, which I think is the problem here. I think that the way we've been designed by God, in my opinion, is that men are to lead, men are to be strong, men are to be brave. Men have to take their rightful position. The way our country has been structured to this point have been because of strong men who have taken a stand, who have fought wars. Now I feel like it's getting so lopsided that our families are degrading. People don't know where they're at in this country.
You nailed it, bro.
I think it's funny that it's people who aren't biologically men determining the definition of what a man is. It's not men themselves or ourselves determining what a man is. I don't think that's right. I think a woman should define what a woman is. A biological woman should define what a biological woman is. And a biological man should define what a biological man is. We have people of the opposite genders saying what one is and what the other is. And that's where the disconnect is. We should be able to define as men what we are and what makes us the best version of ourselves. It shouldn't come from the outside. It should come from us. It shouldn't come from the opposite gender. It should come from our gender.
Masculinity is being redefined. And I think what happens is people get upset when things start to change. No, I think that nobody ever wants to take that away from men. I think that what we want to do in the world now is start to understand what is masculinity. And it's always been really associated with this very machismo space. And now there's different kinds of men in the world. There's not just biological men. There's also trans men or people who want to be masculine. So I think what's happening now is people are pushing against change because change is scary and people don't understand. And so I think men, biological men, feel under attack when I think that's not what's happening.
Is that right?
If as a boy I grew up watching wrestling and football, watching G.I. Joe and Kung Fu flicks, I saw this on TV and witnessing the man's behavior and I emulated that, you can't tell me I'm wrong about what masculinity is. Those things shape me just like whatever made you want to be a man shape you. Masculinity is shaped from how certain men act or have acted. Now, how a female, not by a female who want to be a male, think they should act. We heard the stories about a young man passage into manhood in Africa was killing a lion. Or if you want to join a gang, you got jumped in. It's part of what being a man is naturally, not just what media is showing us. You may have learned hunting and fishing from your father, while the mother taught little girls feminine things, how to cook, how to go on dates, and things about boys. That's what the mother taught the daughters. But as men, we have every right to act macho and do things men have done for thousands of years. We have that right. And from a Manosphere perspective, this is what's leading the charge in making women believe they don't need a man. This is what's leading the charge in women acting more masculine. They're feeling more comfortable because society at large is comfortable with females being more masculine, more manly. And on the flip side, they want men to be more feminine.
The point that you made is 100% correct. There are different phases and people are experiencing in different ways. The feminist movement is, I think they are attacking masculinity within men. I don't want a man to open the door for me. I don't need a man in my life. I can do all of these different things. What they're doing is attacking men, and that's what's causing the problem.
What part of the feminist group feels like it's attacking? Because I know that most feminism is like wanting equal pay or...
Well, you just said that women not needing men is somehow empowering. You know, having a man is somehow less empowering, or being an individual is somehow...
You triggered something in me right now that I'm trying to let go of. I have let go of. Moving on with my life. I don't need it, like, resurfaced.
But that's how women feel.
Right.
Women actually are saying that because that's how they feel. It's
But
as if,
that's not how every woman feels.
but no one's saying every woman. They're only women speak for themselves. So all of you are going to have different opinions as biological men.
Absolutely.
Women all have different opinions. Oh, you see a very specific group of women saying this.
I mean, you did just say that's how women feel. So are you speaking on behalf of all
No,
women?
no, I'm not. Let me take that back. So, the women who are saying that feel that way.
Why do you feel that women in general feel disempowered.
No, I don't think in general. No. That's a generalized statement. You can't say that. I said
you're
the
the one
women. No, I
who
did
said
not. I
women
said the
feel
women who
disempowered.
say that.
You associated somehow women are now embracing masculinity, which means that they are now more empowered because they don't need a man. Or
Right.
if
When
they're
men feel empowered when women need
But
them.
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't think that women's empowerment comes from having a man or not having a man. So why is it always associated that a woman's now empowered because she doesn't need a man? A woman has always been empowered. Women have never been.
But they've never felt
That's
that.
not true.
I mean,
That's
if
not
we go
true.
back to the 1920s, if you're going to do that, but that's not
But
what
of
we're talking
course,
about.
you
We're
have-
talking about society right now.
Right now, you actually think women are empowered right now?
Absolutely, women are empowered.
He's the vice president.
And how long did it take for her to become a vice president?
It's basically coming down to this. The change that's occurring is being force-fed on us. That means families will never be the same. Marriage will never be the same. Dating will never be the same. It's never going back to anything traditional or how it was for our parents. It's sad, but I guess I'll just take it like a man.
I got this.
My name is Clarkson. I'm 24 years old and I'm a conservative man. My biggest question for the other side really is, are you happy? Anybody that wants to fundamentally change society and change gender roles, to me that's not happiness. And if we want to fight for acceptance, we need to start with acceptance, which is accepting society for what it is.
We're all men, and I don't believe there's any wrong way to be a man. We're just redefining what it means to be a man.
But there are things that naturally come to men. So when you say we're just redefining what being a man is, you have to understand you're redefining a fabric in society that has kept the human race and got it to where it is today. So just like aimlessly throwing out, oh, well, we're just redefining what it is to be a man. That's not just like a light subject that we should be talking about.
But why do you think it has to stay the same? Why do we need to have the same thing for hundreds and hundreds of years?
Do you not see the state
It's not the same
of,
thing. It's just, keeping the same qualities.
But do you see the state of our world today? It's not perfect. And it's been led by men like throughout all of history, and look where it's gone.
Is that right?
So we're talking about redesigning what it means to be a man. So what do you want to bring to traditional men?
I think it's embracing that you can be vulnerable.
Bottom line, that's what it's all about.
I think that a lot of men want to portray strength, but men are people, and I know that men have feelings.
Being a man and masculinity, those are two different things. And I believe that we can redefine whatever that means to anybody by including other types of men or other types of masculinity. I myself am a father, I have a child. Some people would disagree with me being a father because I am transgender. But that being said, I present to the world as male, my child sees me as a man.
There's proper ways to be vulnerable, right? You don't have to break down in front of your family and cry. It's okay to suffer silence as well. Strong men, I believe, exude the qualities that you guys are referring to. I think the problem is overcorrection, right? Some people believe that men need to cry and lay on the ground and be feminine like women.
You nailed it, bro.
I'm gonna stop it right here. Let me know in the comments what your perspective is on this, and does this affect the dating market? Let me know in the comments. Everybody have a good one. Peace.